All right, well, the president continues to get a lot of heat for helping China's ZTE Corporation. A lot of people have charged that firm was stealing secrets from us, espionage, you name it. Chuck Schumer responding via tweet, how about helping some American companies first? But didn't tax reform help a lot of companies first? But that's a whole separate argument here. The big rap with this is that even some Republicans are concerned that we're bending over backwards to help a company that has taken a lot of, secrets of ours and got them out and got them out of this country. And now that it's hurting, we want to help them. Now we get another layer to this where maybe this might be part of a broader agreement in which some tariffs that might directly affect farmers, for example, if the Chinese stop buying soybeans from us, that kind of thing, that's eased up as a sort of a quid pro quo on all of this. It's beyond my comprehension. Fortunately, it is not beyond the very, very smart, very, very hip Caitlin Huey-Burns, who follows all this for RealClearPolitics as their national reporter. What do you make of this? The tariff thing and the agricultural thing was like an added statement to say we're not being made fools of here, right? Right, and that wasn't included in the president's original tweet, which got this conversation started in the first place. The president tweeted, saying that this is good for Chinese jobs, which of course runs completely counter to a campaign promise and things that he's done during his administration to promote and grow jobs in the U.S. So, he railed against China over and over again during the campaign, and so this completely runs counter to that. Now, there may be a larger strategy. I just want to be clear, because I might have misquoted Marco Rubio, but he said that the problem with ZTE isn't about jobs and trade, it's national security and espionage. So in other words, we don't want to be doing anything that favors a Chinese company, especially at this time. And especially this one, right? So you're having a kind of bipartisan reaction here for a couple of different reasons, but that's pretty notable as well. This may be part of a larger strategy. Remember, in the backdrop, we, of course, have the trade negotiations with China. The delegation just returned. Nothing really came of that. North Korea, obviously, is top of mind in this administration as the president prepares for that meeting in Singapore next month, where the Chinese president, of course, will be key in that negotiation. So to your earlier point, it remains to be seen what we're getting out of this. Well, the president has tried to develop a real relationship with him, with trade in mind and, of course, with North Korea in mind. We'll see if that bears fruit. But right now, we're not seeing exactly what the U.S. would be getting out of this. The president didn't really respond much, provide much of an explanation. It was interesting, though, that the White House put out kind of a clarification of that tweet today, which they almost never do. They usually let the tweets speak for themselves. So there still are a lot of questions that the president hasn't answered on this. All right. Well, to your point, and we've mentioned this before, the Chinese are going to be instrumental, in these ongoing talks with North Korea. Already have been, maybe helped set up the meeting in the first place. And so that's why we don't want to go, I guess, too far on whatever tariffs we're considering. And then maybe this is all part of that. But it gets to a bigger question I have for you, having examined the president's strategy on economic and related issues. Is it part of a strategy, or is it a fly by the seat of your pants, see where everything falls, and I just might luck out with something constructive? Well, we see the president makes decisions out of this kind of raw gut instinct on a lot of occasions. And I think, we don't know, but it might have been a conversation he was having and said, sure, without thinking of the broader consequences of this potentially. He is very focused on, this promises made, promises kept line that the White House is talking about. And we're seeing that today in Israel. Obviously, the president campaigned on moving the embassy to Jerusalem, has done that today, officially as the opening. But of course, the repercussions within the region are very severe and provide a stark contrast to that. So, the whole campaign was kind of a lot of kind of day by day, and this White House seems to be day by day and fighting battles on a lot of different fronts. We have to remember, not only. But the irony could be whatever the establishment things, whatever you want to call it, particularly the diplomatic community, of what got us to these talks with North Korea. Here we be. These talks in North Korea that started with Little Rocket Man and all this other stuff. Sure. And you would have never predicted this, we'd get to this point.
Sure, exactly. And we can't really see when it comes to China what the broader picture is. But just by, the president started this conversation because he tweeted about it. And the language used in the tweets was just something that I think a lot of his critics and a lot of his supporters take issue with. The way he is talking about Chinese jobs versus American jobs are just not in line with what he's been promoting in the first place, not to mention the national security implications.
Oh, there is that, the national security thing. All right, Caitlin, good seeing you again. Caitlin Huey-Burns. In the meantime, you've probably